Hello, hello. We are back with some Minecraft. I'm gonna turn the music down just a tad. We're gonna hop into some playing. Yeah, so it has been a little while for me streaming. All right. Hey. It's been a while, especially streaming RetroCraft stuff. But yeah, let's do a little test of the chat. Make sure it is working. Hey, what's up, boss man? How are you? Okay, so I have an idea, and it's like spooky-ish themed. My nether portal is over here. You just got back from hunting. Ooh. I don't even know what's in season right now. Like what? Like I remember hunting when I was a little kid, but it was mostly like my cousins and stuff who did it. But yeah, did you get anything good or what? But yeah, so we are going to turn this area right here. This is probably the largest section of mycelium that we have, and that is my nether portal. So what I'm gonna do is what I really want to make this look like is make this look like a large like cemetery field. Hunting deer, you got a doe, shot from 250 yards, and it did a backflip. Oof. But 250 yards, that's impressive. That's pretty good. Yeah, so we're going to start really tearing all this out and turning this into kind of a creepy cemetery-ish look. I really want the nether portal to be grand, not necessarily big, but just grand. Make it look like it's really part of the cemetery structures. Some of the blocks we're going to use are a lot of bone blocks because I want to make it look like the cemetery, extension from this village. Like the cemetery was not just the place to bury people, like people buried animals, and it's like an ancient kind of cemetery structure. We are going to use a lot of different kinds of blocks in doing this. So we have our dripstone blocks for our kind of textured brown, more earthen look. Earthen. Lots of bone blocks. And preparing for lots of bone blocks, I have bone blocks going here. Pretty much all my farms that have a runoff that, like they have a buildup, there's just been lots and lots of bone meal. Oh, hey, what's up, Butterfay? You're at work? Here to say hi for a minute. I have been well. It has been stressful teaching, just lots and lots of time being spent. But yeah, so I have a lot of bone blocks here because this is all full. How long have I been on this map? A while. This was a 1.18 map, and I was playing on it for a little, like for a while before 1.19 dropped. So yeah, it's like I've been at this for a while, and I'm just kind of, this is my kind of relaxing, chill, we're not in it to make you know, the biggest, most efficient farms kind of stuff. It's more of just a chill, kind of regular survival play. You know, not a huge amount of extra stress or big goals. Just kind of have a goal for each stream, and yeah, just lean into that kind of relaxing vibe of it. We're gonna take a bunch of these bone blocks. But I've had this map for a while, and I chose it kind of specifically because it has this. I like Mushroom Islands because I just like being able to be around at night without having to worry about mobs. And the fact that it has a village on it, and I thought it'd be really cool from like a, if we were to kind of thematically build out, like if my character is this eccentric billionaire capitalist who sees this small village on an island and then buys the island essentially and just expands industry off of the village. So this is going to be kind of one big skyscraper to make paper essentially. And then I'll build my house over there and it'll be big and extravagant, but you know, not hard pressed on a lot of these goals. It's really just to just have goals to, you know, slowly build out to. So I'm not, you know, in a rush. All right, let's go sit down some chests over there. Have a good system to grab single villagers for a village breeder. Honestly, I just run around with a boat and then just drop a boat and get them to get into the boat. And then I just boat on the land real slow until I get to sea and then take them where I need to go. And then after that, I'll kind of just build like a walkway that they can't escape from, like a 1 block wide thing, and either use water buckets and just kind of keep blocking off as you go. That way they can't go backwards. So I'll do that. If I have the infrastructure for it, like if I have a lot of rails, I will do a cart system. But usually when I need to grab a villager from a village and then take them a long distance, I just put them in a boat and then just go in the water. And then just slowly kind of maneuver them where I need them to be, and then I can do all that kind of stuff. Moving villagers is always kind of a pain. So it's, I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's almost like a necessary thing that you have to just kind of get used to, I guess, unfortunately. Let's see, let's take some deep slate. And then take some cobbled deep slate. Take some tuff. Some gravel. Made rails in. I'm putting them from a breeder to the tower across the hall. Rails would probably be the fastest. Honestly, you could probably just water bucket them too. Just kind of, I would put slabs at like a top slab at head height, so you can go under it, but they can't, and just use a water bucket. I've done that before, and it works okay. There's no like foolproof way of moving villagers in my experience. They all kind of have their pluses and minuses. Water can be messy. Rails is tedious. Setting up any sort of pathway is tedious. Doesn't have to be elegant as long as it works. That's very true. Like, especially if it's really just to put them over for a breeder. Once you get them there, none of the none of the struggle that you had mattered, because the breeder is such an overpowered kind of mechanic in the game. Grab some of you. Grab some of these. And these. Grab more obsidian. Some crying obsidian. Magma. Go. But how are you, Butterfay? We haven't, like, hung out in a while. I haven't even been on the Nim's server in a long time. That, and it hasn't even been updated. It's still on, I think, 18.2. Oh man, I hear that. I teach and I commute an hour to school every day, and then so I have to drive an hour home every day. So it's 2 hours of my day gone. And so and then I get up at 5:30. I haven't done there much either because it's not updated. Yeah, if they got it updated, I'd hop back in and play some more. Just because I have a lot of really big builds. Yeah, it's a lot of commute travel, and it's not ideal, but it's fun, and I'm getting paid an amount that offsets it enough. It's not, I teach, so it's not like I'm making bank or anything. It's not like I'm making a large sum of money. But it's enough to take care of my family. On the server, sometimes just go look at your builds. I'm very happy with a lot of those builds. Those are some pretty big builds. That, like, Nim's server is, like, my goal for that was just build big and have fun. Again, like, I'm not huge into, like, hyper efficiency, but it's just to have fun, be creative. Since we all help each other out, resources aren't really a big issue. And so once you get going, then you can just skyrocket into whatever you want. Gathering these resources, I did not anticipate it taking forever. That and clearing up all this stuff. You gotta hop on my server sometimes, see what it made. It's coming on pretty well. I took quite a long time to hop back into Minecraft. And it wasn't for any reason in particular. I just get burnt out. Burnt out, busy, playing other games. That I'm just tired. Yeah, exactly. Get those. What else was I looking for? Oh, I need woods. But yeah, so I get up at like 5:30 in the morning. I get at school, and like I get around and I get coffee, and then I drive the hour. And so I'm at my school building from between 7:30 and 8 is usually when I get there. And I'm there until 4:30. That's the end of my last duty, because we in charge of car riders. So me and some other teachers make sure all the kiddos who are car riders, parent pickup, get picked up by their guardians, and then we can go. So that's when I hop back. I go back to my classroom and grab all the stuff that I need, and then I go home. Gotta hop off, finish work. I'll try to hop back in after you get home if you can. Sorry to dip so quick. No, that's all right. You do what you gotta do. I appreciate you hanging out with me. But yeah, so I don't get home until probably, depending on traffic, between 5:30 and 6. Thanks, Butterfay. Hope work finishes well for you. No issues. Let's grab some of this stone. Some of this andesite. Yeah, so I don't get home till probably, it's usually between 5:30 and 6, but sometimes not even until after 6. So it's a pain. And it's just exhausting. But I enjoy teaching. So that's pretty much my main drive there, is just being able to teach, have fun. And teaching music is just, it's a blast. I always tell kids, like, when kids are messing around and, not being very good listeners, and giving me a run for my money, I just let them know, like, my job should be, like, the easiest out of all the teachers here. All the other teachers should be jealous because I'm your music teacher, and we should just, we're learning, but we should be having a blast while we're doing so. Like, all the other teachers should be jealous about how much fun my class seems. And hopefully it seems that way because it is fun. And so the kids who get it. And they're like, yeah, of course. Duh. This should be an amazingly fun class. And so they do a pretty good job helping out. This last week I had a great week teaching. Almost all my classes were like super well behaved. We got through a lot of content. We were able to have, a lot of kind of goofy fun doing so. It's what it's what really made it worth it for me. It was so much fun. Alright. Okay. So we have to do a really, really non-fun thing. And we have to convert all of this mycelium to regular dirt. And it doesn't necessarily have to be regular dirt, but I want it to be regular dirt for now, and then we will change it to other things. We're gonna get rid of all of the mushroom blocks, and then we're gonna use water buckets to kind of drown out the mycelium, and then we will go back through and convert things either to grass, to keep as regular dirt. I think we could do coarse dirt with gravel. I think that's how you do that. I don't remember. Or we might go get some coarse dirt. But we'll have a little bit of grass. We'll have a little bit of mycelium left, just because I think the mycelium will look good as a kind of cemetery-ish block. So I trimmed up my beard today, and I asked my daughter, I said, my youngest daughter, she's 4, I said, Daddy trimmed his beard, and I shaved, and up here and underneath here, and I said, does it look good? And does it look smooth and good? And she goes, it's all white. It's all white right here. And I go, oh, okay, love you too. I'm not asking you this question anymore. It's like, you're not supposed to make me feel old. This was supposed to be a thing for me to like feel good about myself. I'm asking a 4-year-old essentially an easy question to give myself a compliment, and she found a way to make it an insult. I'm like, you're lucky you're cute. But she is not the only kiddo who does that stuff. My students will give me a hard time too about that. They're like, how come you have so much gray hair? And I'm like, well, I'm old. They're like, you're not that old. We have teachers who are older than you and don't have that much gray hair. And I go, that's true. They just age better than me. They may be aging like mine, or like wine. I'm just aging like milk. They're like, I don't know what that means. I was like, when you leave milk out, it becomes all curdly and it becomes sour. I'm essentially calling myself disgusting. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I'm like, oh, you're so great. That's amazing. Ugh. Now, I'm still touching these blocks because these brown blocks will look really good over here too. And the mushroom blocks just have a slightly different texture. Like, look at that. That's a great texture block. So is that, like, just a little bit. You know? You have that slight little variation in the colors, kind of give it a cool little texture. And these red mushroom blocks that kind of form the cap of the mushroom are a little bit more niche probably in how you would use them, but they're still a nice block, and it gives us variety. Having that choice is, in this case, I don't think it's a bad thing, because, you know, Minecraft storage is essentially infinite, so I don't have to worry about storing them for no reason. Boom. Well, we don't have a lot left. There we go. Mushroomy goodness. And I haven't even thought about the design for the nether portal yet. I'm kind of wanting to wing it and just kind of build what feels nice. Like even just talking about it, I'm getting a little bit of an idea, but nothing solid, nothing confirmed in terms of what I want to do. So sometimes it's fun to plan, sometimes it's fun to just wing it. And we'll see how that goes. Give me more mushrooms. Go. Look at all that. I did lock some villagers in their houses, but some of them got, unfortunately, got some interaction with some zombies. But I believe that there are some. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. I very much dislike how this is like I'm barely able to reach it. It drives me a little nuts. Let's see, how loud do I sound right now? That's not too bad. Floating block of mushroom. Alright, let's start doing some drenching. Ah! Accidentally bumped the mouse. The mouse. Alright. Water physics can be frustrating. For real. Like, I don't want to build something up for this. I want to be lazy about it. I was hoping these updating next to that would bump that over, but it has not. Alright, let's do some more. There we go. There it is. Something updated over there. No. I want this one. And then this one. There we go. And look at all this. It's starting already. I'm excited. It has me excited. There we go. Look at all that goodness. There it is. There it is. Alright, let's go sleep. We'll do some more. Oh. Get some more water. Aha. Haha again. Haha again. Water, water, water. Water, 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 water. Water, 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 water. Water, 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 water. Water. Water, 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 water. Inside is the water, water, water. Come on, give me some water. There we go. Water. No, water. There we go. Water. 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 Look at the water. What's that? What is that from? Oh, there was a, like, Emily Blunt did, I don't know why this came to mind. Emily Blunt did some interviews where because she is English and her husband, John Krasinski, is American. And they were in London while she was filming the Mary Poppins sequel. And her daughter kind of picked up on her accent a lot growing up. And so she was saying things like water. And then when they were in America for a while, she kind of dropped it. And she's like, can I have some water? No, it's water. I'm like, yeah. I don't know what that is. It's like, I don't know why I said, like, it is one of those things. It's almost uniquely American to feel pride in how dry that sounds. Like, how awful that enunciation of the word water is. It's so bad, but I love it so much. And it may not be a uniquely American phenomenon. I think we like to attribute every kind of dumb, asinine thing to Americans, which, I mean, is fair. There are things that there are some things in culture that are uniquely dumb and also happen to be uniquely American. But I just found that to be really funny. Water. 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 Can like we not have wonky water physics in Minecraft? Is that a possibility? Because I would love to have non-wonky water physics. Go. I guess I'll keep those mushrooms. Oh, look at that spread. It's a good spread. Oh, I guess a lot of us saw the news about Henry Cavill. The nerddom had one of the weirdest feelings of like, yeah, he's back as Superman. But now it's been found out that after this next season of The Witcher, he won't be coming back. And he, which a lot of people are leading to believe that it's because of Superman. And so Liam Hemsworth is going to be Geralt. And a lot of people are not happy because Henry does such a great job. Which, I mean, that kind of fan outrage, I guess, kind of speaks to people's love of the show, love of Henry. Not so much a disdain for Liam. I think he's a fine actor. Honestly, I think he will do a good job. I think that following in someone's footsteps and on a character like that directly, you know, it's not like a reboot or a rehash of anything or a remake. That can be really tough. So he's got his work cut out for him. I don't envy him in the slightest because he's now kind of back against the wall. Now a lot of people appreciate Henry Cavill because he is, you know, he's one of us. He's a nerd. He just happens to have muscles as a nerd, you know? So, and so people are like, he's an actual fan of the source material and, you know, tries to improve upon. But same thing could be said about Superman. He is a big fan of Superman too. So, like, I'm hoping that the quality of one role is not dictated specifically on the actor. But I think it could be interesting. Like, I'll give it a shot. Would I rather see Henry as Geralt? Yeah. I mean, it's Henry Cavill. But Liam Hemsworth is a fine actor. And I'm glad that I would rather we see him kind of pass the torch in this way of having the character be replaced instead of like introducing a character that like maybe a non-canon character or even a character that could fulfill that same role, and just really changing the story. Because the Witcher story is largely focused on is really just the story of Geralt as the Witcher. So yeah, there's lots of stories that involve other Witchers, but they aren't the main focus. So if they like introduced another character or made up another character just to have Liam Hemsworth take over, I don't think that would go over as well for the show. I mean, people will still be mad. You know, it's what they like. Of course they'll be upset about it. No! Give me the water. But I am glad to see him back as Superman. Spoilers for Black Adam. So give yourself a second to mute. He does return in a post-credit scene. And he is very... This is not a criticism. It is merely an observation of his appearance as Superman. In the post-credit scene of Black Adam, it seems like it's ignoring the Snyder Cut in terms of, you know, him being in the very bright and colorful suit. You know, it's actually the same suit from Man of Steel. They just, the color on it has been adjusted, I would guess in post. but he has the hair swirl like very defined. In a way, it is very comic booky, and I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that, because that hasn't been what we've seen so far, and we haven't really seen it be established anywhere else except this post-credit scene. I'm not saying it's bad to see it, I'm just saying that it is very much a surprise because of what we last saw him as. Even in my opinion, lesser of the two Whedon cut of Justice League, he doesn't have that look of, you know, the actual defined swirl of hair that dangles in front. It's a very Christopher Reeves, Richard Donner look. While amazing, is not what we've seen so far with Cavill. And Cavill's a big fan of that look. Like, I think he pushed for it. But I don't know. I just don't want the tonal shift to be so abrupt, because we're used to a certain tone that Snyder created, whether you like it, you know, whether you're a fan of it or not. You know, a lot of people don't like the tone that Zack Snyder took with Superman, and you know, it's their opinion on it, and you know, it's okay to not like it. I like it at times. Other times I enjoy a more joyous Superman. I mean, Superman has never, and I don't mean never, as in it has never existed. In a lot of the media I've consumed of Superman, with the cartoons and the comics and the animated movies, he's never been always happy-go-lucky. There is a lot of struggle he deals with. There is a lot of darkness that goes around him just because of the enemies he faces and the struggles he comes up against. So to say that, like, he is completely removed from it, I think wouldn't be honest. But it's not the polar opposite either. He's not just always the hero with a smile, you know. But I enjoy Henry Cavill's take on Superman, so as long as it's not directed by, or as long as Gunn doesn't, oh yes, also James Gunn is now the Kevin Feige, but for DC. He and another someone he's worked with before, that he's close with, that he's worked with professionally. I'm not a huge fan of James Gunn, mostly because of his past that he, like, kind of halfway apologized for. I don't know. The humor in a lot of his stuff is like 14-year-old boy humor. Like, it's like penis jokes and poop jokes, which is fine, but like, I don't always want to see that in every movie. Like, I feel like it's if Step Brothers was a superhero movie, and to say that is how every superhero movie needs to be tonally, I don't know. Because there are different versions of even the same character that can be dark or can be light in terms of, like, what they're doing. But I don't know, just not a big fan of James Gunn. That he made a lot of, like, pedophilic jokes, and that's how, you know, he kind of grew a following in that sphere, especially on Twitter. And as we've seen with now, again, newsflash, Elon Musk officially owns Twitter, and as soon as announced, people were saying horrible slurs, knowing that, I guess, Elon thinks that's okay. But yeah, Twitter is already pretty much like the Wild West of reckless opinions and statements that people perceive as not needing any consequences. So it's, I don't know. And I felt like James Gunn's apology was very lackluster and didn't really identify the reason why people weren't happy with him in the first place. So, as long as James Gunn doesn't direct Superman, I think I'll be okay. Him directing Suicide Squad was enough, because it was like a slap in the face to Ayer's team, because he essentially killed them all off, as almost like a bit. Like, it almost felt like, oh, it's a bit. Like, oh, you know that DC movie no one liked? Let's kill all the characters off. Haha. It was like almost tongue-in-cheek. And I was like, you just like dedicated the first 20 minutes of runtime to this movie as a bit to kind of poke fun at the previous movie. And while I guess, you know, how Mel Brooks of him, but also like, I felt like that was its only point, was just to do that. Like, and I would say Mel Brooks as a comparison, but Mel Brooks would have actually like maybe had more of a reason for that kind of a satire. Maybe a little bit more of a political reason or social reason for it to kind of punch up. But it felt like punch down humor, and not really my thing. Ooh, it's a lot of water placing. All right. Well, that's going. Let's do... Oh, wow. That is a lot. Do a screenshot. All right. Let's get a fence to kind of... Should we do a fence or should we do walls? Maybe we should do cobblestone walls. Or moss, like cobblestone, mossy cobblestone walls. We can do that to kind of help separate. Oh, excuse me. So there's those. We'll take this. Oh, we'll take these too. I won't use them the whole time, but we will use them for some of it. All right. Throw you up here, get the cobblestone walls. That. Yeah, we can do mossy cobblestone. No. There it is. Let's put this back. Put you up there. So I knew we had some, and so you could make mossy cobblestone with moss blocks and cobblestone, which is nice. Let's see. Do we have? go. We'll do this. Get a couple more of those, and then we'll do some more of these. So this will help us kind of define our barrier a little bit of cemetery, graveyard, and the town. And also like my quote-unquote character's space. Oh, it's almost night. There we go. Saw the moon. Okay. So let's maybe do something, since the road kind of comes out here. Let's do this. There we go. And this may not be, you know, the final placement of things. It's more just a guide for now. There we go. And let's go. Let's do that. And then this. And just kind of angle it a little bit. No, let's take you off there. And let's just go more this way. Instead. Okay. And then we'll do one more over. And then come up. It's a very awkward wall. It's not a very, like, what you can definitely tell, like, no one really thought this out. This is not one like the city planner was like, yes, this makes perfect sense. This wall makes perfect geographic sense. I just tried to jump over it. That wasn't gonna work. All right. So let's see, what was I gonna say? Oh, I know that Minecrafters sometimes like to watch other Minecrafters, and I just got caught up on Hermitcraft and all of the shenanigans that have happened with the Rift, and I have to say, they probably did this as a nice fun way to kind of take a break from their normal kind of grind of Hermitcraft and what's happening on Empires. But this multiverse kind of crossover thing has me very interested in watching Empires. Like the roleplay aspect of Minecraft, I can see it. I could even see myself getting into it. Like I was watching someone and I was like, ooh, what kind of empire would if I was there, what kind of empire would I want to do? That kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay. I don't know if I will go back and rewatch this, all of season 2 of Empires. Because I think, yeah, they're on their season 2 of it. But I will definitely start season 3 of Empires. It has me kind of hooked enough to or interested enough to kind of see how they start it, because of course they're far enough into their season where they have the infrastructure to kind of do a crossover. So I think that's pretty neat, and the coordination it takes to pull that kind of stuff off I think is really cool. And they did it in a fun way by making it like an event, like with the rift happening. I think that was a really good way to kind of capitalize on that. And multiverse things are popular, like Everything Everywhere All at Once was immensely popular. Of course, the Marvel movies with the MCU and what they're doing with their multiverse is very popular. So I don't know, they definitely knew what they were doing, I feel like. So good on them. I don't know who coordinated it, if it was Grian or if it was like a just a suggestion that they kind of just all ran with. But I dig it. The King stuff with King Ren was pretty good. You could definitely tell they were done with it though. And not in a bad way. You could just definitely tell, like, they knew that concept kind of ran its course. So seeing that all the hermits kind of do the games, the different gauntlet stuff, I think was really cool. But it would be interesting to see how the hermits would do an Empires-like thing where each of them have their own lands. And they do a more of a bartering thing. It doesn't really work with a lot of their playstyles though, because they kind of make mega builds and big projects out of making farms for everything. And each hermit's community is kind of self-contained. So it would definitely be interesting. I'm not saying it wouldn't work, I definitely think it would be interesting. But, no, I definitely want to give Empires a shot now. I was even thinking of what skin I could do. Wait a minute. I have my Survivor skin on. I was doing some stuff on my Survivor world, my hardcore world. Spoiler alert, things did not go well. I did some recording because I was like, oh, I'm going to record an episode for this. I have time. I have the motivation for it. So I did some recording for things for the second episode because it's been a few months since my first episode. And things did not go well. So hopefully I can get that all compiled together. And it'll be a short video. But yeah, things did not go well. But it's okay. It was fun. But yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, it's like, oh no, do I have the right skin on? Nope. That would be tough to manage that. I am still trying to get this last villager for this fire protection 4. I have one, I think over there, that actually has it as a secondary trade. I'm trying to get it as a first trade. Just as a first trade. I don't care if the rest of its trades are gross. I just want that as its first trade. Alright, so we're gonna start with some grass. And grass spread is not quite, like, I feel like mycelium spreads really fast. All that's still mycelium. Okay. So let's think. How can we make the portal cool? Let's think. Actually, let's hop out. Let's go to a test world and just build. Just build the portal structure. It's, you know, I was thinking maybe we could do a free kind of build, and I was like, nah. So this is a bee farm I'm working on. Not really for efficiency. It's just kind of more aesthetic stuff. Tried to. I didn't, you know, want to give it block for block, but just kind of take inspiration from the natural beehive. I think it did that okay, and have some, you know, honey leaking out. So this will be the shearing side. That'll be the honey bottle side, and it's 16 on each. And then under here will be the output. And what will probably end up happening is I'll dig it out a little bit, and that will be the storage for that. This will be the input for the shears and then the bottles and stuff like that. All right. Let's build another portal. So we need obsidian. I believe obsidian is here. Where's my crying obsidian? There. Let's do some blackstone polished bricks. And then we'll do regular stone, cracked stone, and cobble. Alright, so we do want it built up a little bit, so let's start here. We're gonna make it big. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Let's do a 10. That's a 10. So we'll build it up a little bit. Make it a 10 wide. 8 actual portal size, but 10 on the frame. Make it kind of grand. We want to make it grand and not too big, but big. Let's see, how many blocks do we have here? 1, 2, 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be a 10 by 10. Let's see how we like the square, or if we want a more rectangular build. I don't mind the square, but let's do rectangle instead. So let's go up. So it's 12, 13. Ooh, yeah, let's do 13 because numerology. Right? Is it numerology? I'm Googling it. The numerology, like the focus on numbers, the belief in the occult, divine, or mystical relationship between a number and one of its coinciding events. Yes, the numerology of 13. I don't personally subscribe to it, but a lot of people do, and that'd be a fun way to kind of incorporate that into this. Okay, so let's toss that back, so we don't need that anymore. Let's get some coarse dirt, some dripstone, podzol, do some rooted dirt, dark oak planks. Let's do strip dark oak, regular dark oak. Get some steps in here. Deep slate. Alright, so let's put in some coarse dirt. Actually, let's just use the fill command. So let's go out here. And then we will do coarse dirt. There we go. Okay. So now let's do some regular dirt. Let's dig some of this off. Alright, got kind of that top layer going. Okay. And we don't want it to look square when we do the final build. And it won't look exactly like this anyway, just because the terrain that we have, we're not going to do too much landscaping, but we do want to get this similar, and I'll take screenshots and then we'll move it over. How long have we been streaming for? A little over an hour. Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty good. It's been nice to stream. Nice to have the motivation, the time, the energy. Ugh. I thought, I'll cut back streaming a little bit with teaching. No. It's just real tough. And I thought about maybe doing a more podcast style stream while I drive home. But I was looking up TOS stuff, and it's a little blurry on that because it's like if streaming inhibits your driving, it could be a violation, which is super okay. Like, I totally get that and completely agree that, that kind of phone usage and stuff could be really detrimental to your awareness and how you drive. So totally get it. But it leaves it up for a lot of debate on whether you are being, there's no clear-cut line on it being safe or not, because it doesn't say that you can't do it. It just pretty much talks about it being, a safety thing. So, if you're having a tough time driving, it makes it a little bit more clear that you are not impaired, but you know, it is inhibiting your driving, which totally makes sense. But I thought about it for a little bit. I just didn't know kind of what I would do, you know, what the format would be. I thought about maybe if it was like about gaming, you know, newest things happening in gaming, and it would be kind of like a gaming live podcast, which there's a lot of those that do exist, so the format is there. It would just be, do I feel comfortable doing that? And at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I'll use that as a time for me to decompress. And, you know, things more related to my teaching field. I do a lot of listening to albums and different soundtracks, so I can piece together different things. Alright, so we got some regular dirt in there. Let's add some pot. Well, let's first... Now let's go down to Blackstone, grab some of these. Put these in here. Grab some stairs. There we go. I don't need a whole bunch there. Oh. I do like the Blackstone look a lot more, but I think Blackstone and maybe regular cobblestone, these stairs might work together a little bit more. Yeah. This, where is my cobblestone? There we go. I don't see that one. Go. There we go. Okay. Don't make it look so even. And then we'll do a little bit of this. Let's go with that. Boom. Those are just upside down just to make it work for us right now. We could do that and then go bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop. Now we can do some podzol. Ooh, we don't even have any mud in here. We gotta do mud. Where's the mud? Packed mud. We don't want that. Bricks. No. That looks dark. All right. This. A little bit of that. There we go. That's looking pretty good. There we go there. That's too checkerboardy. There we go. Oh, so good. I love it. It's a little clumpy, and we can make it look different when we put it inside the world. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's add some of these blocks. Now these, a little can go a long way, I feel like. We don't have to overdo it. There we go. Drop you in the corner. Drop you there. And there. There we go. Go a little lighter on that side. Let's do some packed mud. Maybe one here in the middle. One here. We don't even have packed mud yet. Do maybe a little bit of that. No, no. Let's do put you there, but let's do this here. Ooh, I don't dislike that. Having that kind of just like sitting there like that, I like it. I think it works. And then let's do one here. And then we can add some black terracotta, but the black terracotta actually looks brown. So I'm okay. I'm okay about it. It pops a little, and it might pop a little too much, but it's one of those things I'm like, I'm okay with it. There we go. Okay. So now let's grab some of this, some of that. Is there cracked blackstone? Do we have cracked blackstone? We have cracked polished blackstone. Okay. Salt, smooth, and polished. So we're going to treat this as the kind of faux walkway kind of thing. As kind of, you know, what are some of the older rocks in this walkway, ones that have not been blackened by time, but kind of look like they have almost a presence to them, like there's a reason that they are there and that they have been chosen. Let's add a little bit of blackstone. There we go. Okay, and then we will do a smooth right next to here. And also here. And here. Oh, there it is. That looks good. Okay. And then we will do these kind of spiky spires coming out. Okay, let's do this one here. Okay. Let's trade you. Well, actually, let's trade you out for that. We don't want the polished. So let's do this. One of these. That, and then we can do that, and then do one of these. There we go. Look at that. Okay, I like it so far. Okay. Let's look at it for a minute. We need smoke. We need smoke. So we need the campfire look. Let's do soul, regular. Grab those because we're making some. I think we'll do that. Cobwebs, of course. All right. So let's do there we go. Okay, smoke is good. Smoke is good. Let's do one down here. Okay. Now, do we just set the fire there? No. Okay, boom. Let's add some of these on here. Okay. Put a little light on this side. Ooh, that'll actually work there. That's cool. Go. It's weird that you have to like hit the top to make it grow. Now it's starting to get a little busy. That's okay. Do I like that? No, I do not. Okay. Throw that away, throw that away, throw that away. Now we want to make some these polished. We're gonna make some like lantern, like hanging lanterns. Let's see, which one do I like more? This is darker. This has more of like a built look, but I also like that too. So let's get rid of those. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually oh no. There we go. There we go. That looks good. I like that. We'll do another one about here. How many do I go? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna make another one, but we're not gonna put a light on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just gonna drop this down like that. Very spooky. Very spooky. Okay. So now, let's grab some of this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. We're gonna up, go down like this. Actually, I think I kind of liked it broken. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. And then we'll do a little bit of this to help start mixing in these textures. There we go. Do one of these. One of those. A little bit of that. A little bit of that. Alright. Look at that. I am digging it. I am digging it. It's simple. It's not too much. There's not a whole lot going on with it, but it still tells us, oh, this is another portal that has something wrong with it. Like, it's not your usual nether portal, which I'm okay with. So, yeah, like that. Yeah, I really like that. Simple, to the point. Gives us a path. It's defined enough to let us know that this is the way you should be going. But it's broken, so you still have to kind of like watch where you're going. Like, it's not an easy path to walk. There are hazards. But as long as you are watching your step, you're fine. I like this. I really do. Is there anything we need to add? Maybe some fire? I'm debating on whether we need to actually add fire or not. And if we do, how much? So let's do this. No, I don't hate it. I don't. I hate that I don't hate it. And while we're here, let's add some of the soul soil. Ugh, I don't hate it. That actually does look really good. Okay. Do I want to hang anything from there? Maybe we'll add some webs. Yeah, not too much. I think that works. Yeah, I like it. I think that works. Let's take some screenshots. All right. Good. Looking good. Right. Are those just fish? I think those are just fish. There it is. There's the sleep we need. Alright. Still lots of mycelium here. Okay, so we can't do anything over there yet. I still see a lot of mycelium. Makes me sad. I thought we could get this done today. let's go check some other things. Let's see if this guy needs to be reset again. Ooh, big cough. Oh, you do have some, nothing. Wish we could influence that a little bit more. So my iron farm here is doing awesome. So much so that I have so much iron. Like I'm now like in the big blocks. So I even reminded myself, build iron block storage underneath. Yeah, we're gonna need to do that probably soon. Probably just gonna dig out a big chunk. And then just place chests. But I also need to put the sorting system behind so I can actually sort out the bars from the poppies. It's going to be a whole thing. I have been chopping down a lot of these spruce trees off stream and spreading out the podzol so I can get rid of a lot of the mycelium going that way. So see all those trees planted over there. Really just to kind of help get rid of a lot of this, since it is such a pain. The fact that and it's the biggest pain is not because it's there, it's because it spreads so fast. Getting any grass to grow after having dirt when there's mycelium around is just it's a chore. And it's no fun. It's not a fun chore. Alright, so we are actually going to have to probably not do this today. I mean, makes me a little grumpy. Like, I'm probably gonna have to sit and wait on this. Yeah, even this stuff that I set a long time ago, like a lot of it is dirt, but some of this takes a long time. Like these are some of the first ones. And they haven't, but yet some of those did. These are all good, but these are not. So I think like maybe proximity to the source block? Maybe? But it seems like it's right here at the edges are converting to dirt faster. I don't know. I don't know what the code in for that is. What meaning they designed that kind of behavior for. Well, I mean, we could always do it a different time. Gathering the materials was really the biggest part, and there's a few materials I still don't have yet, like with some of the terracotta, mud. I don't have mud blocks yet. We could do that. All right, let me get to a safe spot. Well, thank you guys ever so much for watching and hanging out with me. Check me out on all the social media sites like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. There's a link for that in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, should be a link in the link tree. But yeah, all those things, Facebook and TikTok as well. In the chat, you'll see there are some links for those. But thank you guys again for watching. If you have trouble finding me, I'm mMrRetro on everything. That's mMrRetro. That's 2 M's, 2 R's, ETRO. Thank you guys ever so much again for watching. Let's do a raid. We haven't done a raid in a while. Let's see. Hi, it's Kai is streaming. She looks like doing some very fancy Minecraft work here. So let's do a raid. Raid. Hi, it's Kai. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.